Okay, so moving on here, we have another video we're going to talk about. So these are comments from a video we did, Who Wrote the Pink Letter? So let me zoom in here because I have it on a tiny thing here. So from XX Pandemonium XX says the Pink Letter is the series' biggest cliffhanger, ending a Song of Ice and Fire lends itself to so many valid theories because it's amazing detail. I think the best theory for the Pink Letter is this guy Admiral Kurd. He says he's a prominent YouTuber, Reddit person. He's been on the Macer Monthly thing. He does a 9-episode thing where, let me see. Oh, I need to pull up the actual video here because it's too long. 1 second here.
Oh yeah, I got it in front of me.
Oh, so, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he's talking about just that he went ahead and did like 9 episodes on the Pink Letter discussion, where he's talking about how beautiful it's all the narrative points. How it points to a character that pretty much everybody forgets, and I think this call out of a character for being the author of the Pink Letter really separates the show watchers' theories and strictly book readers' theories, where as show watchers take too much hint for what show characters would be doing in the series. Hold on, does he ever tell us what? Hold on.
Yes, he does. He goes on here and he says, he says the theory is that it's Alliser Thorne who wrote it.
Yeah, there it is. Yep.
Oh, I've not heard that.
I have not heard that theory, so I may have to go give those videos a check. But that's interesting, actually. Did Alliser Thorne write the Pink Letter?
I'm going to have to watch it to get the justification for it, but that is a very interesting idea. The more I think about the Pink Letter, the more I branch out and get a little more wild with it. So I'm open to that idea. I just need to know more details.
Well, keep in mind, so Alliser Thorne is on kind of a different path right now than he is in the show. He's he's sent away. He's not there. He's not part of Jon's kind of execution, right? He's not part of the guys that killed Jon. So he'll be coming back. And he's a character. It's like, we really, Ez and I really need to do a YouTube video on what's going to happen with Alliser Thorne in Winds of Winter, because in the show he gets beheaded by Jon, but we have no idea what's going to happen with him. He's going to be total different.
Yeah, what if he wrote the Pink Letter to get Jon out of Castle Black so he could come back and take the reins?
Yeah,
that alone, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, if Alliser Thorne comes back, he could be elected Lord Commander,
exactly,
and then Jon is resurrected, and Alliser Thorne is now the new Lord Commander.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Right there, if you want to talk about subtle differences between the show and the books and why we would ever want to read, just that there. Those are the little things that are going to be different that could, just blow the story wide open.
Yeah.
Wait a second, fellas. Wait a second here. So I'm going to have to go look this up because I think this would be fascinating. We can maybe cover this later on and do a full separate thing. But yeah, if there's a reason why Alliser Thorne's story doesn't continue in the show, and it's exactly this, it's the Pink Letter and treason to the Watch. If he committed some type of, and attempted to kind of put out the Lord Commander in a way that would be interesting. And I'm trying to recall where he was in relationship to all these different people to know if he would know. And I think as I'm going through, I'm checking yes, actually, as to maybe how he would know about Mance Rayder, how he would know about these different individuals. You know what I mean? That show up in the Pink Letter. So
yeah, it's definitely something that has to be. We have to look more into it because we got to. It's off the top of our head. It sounds good, but seeing where he is and how he would know that information is pretty key.
Yeah, because he's sent beyond the wall. That's it. That he's sent ranging beyond the wall. And Alliser says that he will return one way or one way or the other.
The other.
The other.
That means Alliser Thorne is the Night King. Confirmed.
Confirmed.
Confirmed. You heard it here first, folks.
Right.
Holy
but
cow.
you know, it's what's interesting though is that when he comes back, I mean, Jon could be resurrected, and Jon might know more about his parentage, and Jon, you know, Alliser Thorne could end up fighting alongside. You know, who knows?
Right.
Man, that is definitely a character I haven't seen examined for like wins a winner and what comes of him. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, this was good because
Great comment.
It definitely, really good comment. And thanks for the resource because this is cool. I just went over to Admiral Kurd and looked at some of the videos we have here. Some cool stuff on House Tyrell, Winds of Winter connections, and George and HBO stuff. Yeah, so.
Just continuing on here, just some H Pinnels 18 says it was Mance. Just a couple others thanking us for Stephanie Calligraphy is the way it looks like, or Steffi Calligraphy says, I think it's Stannis. The pre-release chapters either explained everything or the biggest red herring of all time, and Gur is a god. Both options are equally possible. So
yeah, we have someone else, Jalabar, real quick, just says that the letter came from within Castle Black. So
that could be,
yeah,
very possible.
Yeah,
guys,
especially when you're considering kind of like
treachery.
Again, we talked about this before too. We think Stannis. I actually have a YouTube video I will be posting soon about will the Battle of Bastards even take place in Winds of Winter. It's something Ez and I have talked about a little bit. And if the letter did come within Castle Black, I mean, it seems like Stannis might go smash Ramsay. I mean, you know, he's going to get more men. He's going to go do a lot more stuff. So who knows?
It makes sense. I'm sitting over here. I don't know if you guys see me. I'm mentally trying to go through and check off, just trying to recall at the end of in the book series, who would know this information. And we've always kind of thought, well, I mean, Ramsay doesn't know everything. Stannis doesn't know all this stuff. Like, so when you throw out those different characters, you're like, well, they don't know all these things. They're making some assumptions. So the people who would know what Jon Snow knows and could present something to him that is like, he doesn't know Stannis' fate, but that could be embellished, elaborate. That could just be made up. That could, you know, I mean, they do know who's arrived at Castle Black. They do, or who's coming. They, you know, I don't know. Then they get into the whole thing with Reek. That's what kind of it throws me with the mention of Reek. That gets me a little bit, but it depends on where Alliser Thorne or someone else went to, being in Stannis' camp. You know, I don't know.
Do you think there's any possibility that and I'm going to this person D Crawford leaves a comment here, just saying really that the Red Priest is no longer with Stannis. I believe that's a sign. And he says something good here. He says, I think Littlefinger knows there's an opportunity to take Winterfell, and he has Sansa, and he will take it. Do you think that there's any possibility that Littlefinger is the one who writes it? Because if I'm Littlefinger and I'm trying to take as much control as possible, I could remember Sansa in the books is in the Vale. She does not go off with Ramsay to get forced into marriage. That's a different character. That's Jane Poole pretending to be Arya. So do you think if you're Littlefinger and maybe you have some ideas of what's going on in the North, I mean, these guys are supposedly have spies everywhere, that you could write the letter, send it to Castle Black to force potentially Jon and maybe members of Castle Black over to try and cause some kind of fight, so you could just go in there and play cleanup and then just take Winterfell? Now you have the Vale and Winterfell if you're Littlefinger. I mean, it
would be a good way of tying in Littlefinger into a larger plot point, because he's kind of like, especially compared to what we know in the show, which is what it is. It does feel like Littlefinger's a bit of a mystery right now as far as the books, in my opinion.
Yeah, because in the show, remember, he does go up there and he is scheming and stuff. And it feels like the show just had no idea what to do with him, and so they're just like, "Oh, I don't know." But we don't in the show. He does go up there, so he could certainly go up there in the books, but he could have a way more prevalent role. Yeah. And then Arya killing him is satisfying if that is the way it does go. If Arya does come back, go to Winterfell, all of that.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that, guys, this has me looking up people like Sir Justin Massey, who left from, who was with Stannis, was tasked with going and getting sellswords with the Iron Bank and things like that. Holy cow! And I'm just looking at, like, if there is a time, like some type of time gap or whatever, or just where all did these characters go? It's really left wide open. And who could have brought that? Like, we don't really get to see the hand. We don't get the sequence of this. A letter is presented to Jon. Who dropped that? Like, did it came by Raven, or maybe it came by Raven? I mean, who knows? Like, if they're trying to persuade, someone is trying to manipulate Jon. It does seem like they're trying to manipulate Jon into moving south and leaving his post. So who wants to do that? Stannis wants to do that. Alliser Thorne would have a reason to do that. What I mean, when you think about the Boltons, I don't know. I mean, is that just, are they wanting that to happen because they want some disruption into Stannis' course to Winterfell? It seems like Stannis and Thorne would have more of a reason to want to have Jon mess up. And I always go back to, I defend Jon on this, in that I know it's like he's leaving and intervening in different things, but the Watch was attacked from the south, or from wherever you want to call it. That letter is an attack on the Lord Commander. Like, his life is threatened in that. So I think he has a right to respond to it.
I do too.
Yeah, so I kind of think the Watch should have rallied behind him, and the people who it's set up directly for this. And I know there's even people who've said, like, Val has been put forward as someone who possibly could be in touch with. They have their own maybe secret network going on, and she's working with the Wildlings and trying to get Jon to move and support Mance. The whole thing. There's a lot of stuff happening that people suggest it could be her as well. But I'm starting to think it's all just to move him off that spot, and it's all to remove him as Lord Commander.
And I think that this is why the pink letter is probably most people's favorite theory going into Wins a Winner. And there's a whole lot of other things. Wex Pike could have written the letter, which was Theon's like attendee or squire, or however you want to say it, because he's learning letters from, I believe it's the Manderleys. Yeah. Right. So did Manderley have him write it? There's a portion where Theon hears something up in a tree, and people think it's Bran, but maybe it was Wex because he liked to climb trees. I mean, there's like,
there's deep level. There's seriously
so many deep levels, and George does love making the insignificant significant.
Yes, he does.
Did Davos write it? Right.
I actually, that's like my theory that I don't think makes a ton of sense. That you could probably make it make sense, right?
Because again, there's somebody else who's learning
exactly
letters, right? Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a great, payoff for that?
Right. Did Jon write it? I mean, I'm open to all of it. Did he write it and say, "Hey, look what I got," just to try and get people to get this?
And where does Lady Stoneheart play in all this?
Seriously.
Did she write it? Did
she
write it? Oh, that's great. That's probably as crazy as the pink letter is. It's probably a good place to kind of leave it while we go look up some of these other things. This was good because it actually stirs up a whole nother level of conversation for us. Like sometimes you just. What's presented in the book series, what George wants to do is they're going to bite on this. Alliser Thorne's going this way. No one's going to see him going the opposite way. And just because I told you, just because I said he left that way, it doesn't mean he didn't turn right around and do something else.
It's true.
So that's really, really cool to think about.